Hey, my name's James and I'm one of the dentists at Annandale Village Dentistry. This is our third and final video in the Mouthguards series, so if you haven't seen our first two, I suggest heading over to our Facebook or YouTube page and checking those two videos out. In the first video, I built a boil and bite mouthguard. Now this is the type of mouthguard that you can get from the chemist or sports store, take it home and make it yourself in the kitchen. In the second video, I made a custom mouthguard, and this is the type of mouthguard that you have to come to a dental technician or a dentist to have done. In this video, I want to compare the two. So I have a cast or a model of my own teeth that I've used in the other two videos, and today I'll be using both mouthguards and these models in order to compare the two. So let's get started. The first thing I'd like to talk about is retention, and that means how well does the mouthguard stay on your teeth and stay in place. I've touched on this in a few other videos, but we'll compare the two directly today. So this is the boil and bite mouthguard, and it's seated down fully on my casts. Now if I push hard on any one of these areas, it rotates off, so the retention is quite poor. If I press that back down and then push down on the top of it here, it falls out right away. It's not very well retentive. This is my my custom mouthguard here. If I click this into place and I do the same thing, it's not going anywhere. It's extremely retentive. If I push on anywhere, the only thing I'm doing is pushing it further onto the teeth, and it's not coming off. So the retention compared between the boil and bite and the custom mouthguard is not comparable at all. It's apples and oranges. If I really work to get this off, I'm really pushing on that, it's not coming anywhere. In fact, if I take a metal wax knife here, I really have to wedge it on all sides to get it off. Alright, so retention's great. Why is it so great? Well, it holds the mouthguard in place, which lets it do its job. If I'm running down the field, if I'm skating down the ice, whatever I'm doing, whatever activity that you need a mouthguard for, the last thing you want to do is consciously have to be thinking about keeping your mouthguard in place. You don't want to think about it. You just want it to be there and for it to do its job. You don't think about a pair of gloves, you don't think about your helmet, you don't think about anything like that, and your mouthguard is a protective piece of equipment that you shouldn't have to think about at all either. So, what happens if I do want it to come out? Well, with a boil and bite, I don't need to do much. It falls out on its own. In fact, I actively have to be thinking about keeping it in place. And you may be worried, well, the custom mouthguard, that looks like it fits in really well. Is it even going to come out if I try to get it out? Yes, it is. The way that these work is they're either vacuum or pressure formed to the cast, to the model of your teeth. And so they have incredible suction and retention, and it's hard for air or liquid to get in between here and down against your teeth. But if you consciously think, all right, I want my mouthguard out, I'm going to put my tongue in the back here and just lift down here. I've let air and liquid get through here. I've broken the suction. If I do that on both sides here, now this mouthguard comes out quite easily. It's not difficult to get it out then. So if I want this mouthguard to come out, I can take two fingers and pull from the top down near the back. And it comes out quite easily. Or I can take my tongue and break the suction from the back, and it comes out quite easily if I flick it out from the front then. Now if I don't break the suction from the back, if I just pull from the front, or if I'm just using my tongue to try to get it out, I'll never get my tongue underneath it just from the front, only from the back. It's quite difficult to pull it out just from the front. Very easy to go from the back, very difficult to get it out from the front. So this mouthguard is designed that you don't need to think about it. It's going to work just like any other protective equipment that you have. You wear it and you don't need to think, I need to keep it in place. Much different to the boil and bite. Now if we compare this to the boil and bite mouthguard, if I put this in, I actively have to think that I'm trying to keep it in place. If I move, it's coming loose. If my tongue touches it, it falls out. So I need to almost keep my mouth closed all the time in order for the retention to be there. And there is no suction. Because it's not form-fitted to my teeth, it doesn't stay in place. If I want this out, well, it's out. I didn't really have to think about that. It's going to do it all by itself. Looking at the occlusal surface of my boil and bite mouthguard, you can see that my molars have made some indentations here, but it isn't a very good capture of the entire tooth. And because its mouthguard wasn't form-fitted around the tooth, you can't see where the tooth starts or ends, and this is the reason why the suction and retention is quite poor. Compare that to my custom mouthguard, where you can see the entire occlusal pattern, all the way from the top of the tooth down to where the tooth ends and the gum starts. This is what gives this mouthguard such excellent retention and such excellent suction. Looking at the biting surface of this boil and bite mouthguard, you can see that there are spots where my molars have touched in on either side, not so much near the front, but this is actually a decent indentation for what we want here. We want a place for each of our teeth to fit into comfortably, not get locked in place, but have a seat that's comfortable for each one. I would like to see some more contact anteriorly here, but on the posterior, it's not actually too bad. Looking at my custom mouthguard, you can see more of the same here, so there's quite a good seat for each one of these molars to fit into, and there is more contact on the anteriors here. You can see that they have a spot to fit in here as well. So as far as the biting surface goes, the boil and bite actually hasn't done too poorly of a job, but the custom mouthguard is still ahead of it. Well, that's it for me. I hope those videos were informative and answered any questions that you may have had about boil and bite or a custom mouthguard. If you do have any more questions, or if you'd like your own mouthguard, or you just want to see a dentist, head on over to our website, annandalevillagedentistry.com.au, and set up an appointment. We'd love to meet you.